Hi everybody, my name is Scott Walls. For over 25 years, I've deployed ERP applications for some of the world's largest organizations. During that time, I've taught thousands of people just like you how to discover, use, deploy, and support Oracle's back-office software. In this lesson, I'm going to walk through the Purchase Requisition application. Please note that this lesson is part of the Purchase Requisition course found within the Procurement functional area under the Discover menus. But before we get started, did you know that you could earn free discovery badges for display on your LinkedIn profile just by watching videos like this one? You can. Stay until the end of this video and I'll show you how. Okay, so let's get started. Key topics for this lesson are as follows. Seated user for this application, so I'll show you which one we'd use. Navigation, the application homepage, application transactions, and transaction search options, basic and advanced. Before we move forward, it's worth noting that this type of video is more focused on what something does or where to find it. If you want to learn how to use and or deploy this application, then watch the videos under those menus. Okay, so let's jump out of this and into the actual application. And so the first thing we talked about was the seated user. So as you can see in the seated or demo environment, so we're really talking more about Demo Central, we log in as somebody called Calvin Roth. Calvin Roth is a procurement manager. You can see that up here in the actions and settings, or rather settings and actions menu. So that's the first who we log in as. We'll talk about some basic navigation. So obviously we're logged in. This is Calvin's homepage. So in order to find the Purchase Requisition application, you'll first select the procurement functional area, and then the application icon that says Purchase Requisitions. So that tells you a little bit about how to get to the application. This is what's called the application homepage. There's at least three different types of homepages. This is one where you come right into the transaction. And so as you can see here, you're really ready to create a requisition. If we take a look just quickly about this particular page, there's about 6 or 7 different ways that you can create that requisition, meaning where you go find largely pre-negotiated content. But if you want to create items in a rec, you're looking to add them to your cart. So first is a shopping list. So you can see shopping lists for your organization or shopping lists that you've created for this particular user ID. This is for the organization. This is just junk lists that people inside this environment have happened to create for themselves. So that's the first place that you can find items, pre-negotiated content, catalogs, and add them to your cart. The next or second one is here, where you can search for different items and they would be displayed in the screen, but you can add them there. The third is shop by category. So if I know we have t-shirts, but I don't know what they're called, I could then start to troll, if you will, through any of these different categories that we assign when we build the item. So that's how you can get to the items there. That's the third. The fourth is by adding, so sometimes when we have a punch out, we'll add that as what's called a top category, and there's a way to do that here, so you can see how to get to a punch out there. Fifth is to add a series of top categories. So these, usually 4 or 5 of these come delivered in the seated applications. You can see them here. Selecting this category would display all the items for that category. Very similar, but different. Seeing every category up here. Again, if you have lots of them, it makes it more, it makes it easier, right? So you have shopping list 1, 2, 3 by category. Then you have 4 here by the punch out. 5 are these categories. 6 are what is called a request form. So request form is a way that you can take the basic non-catalog fields and add some additional fields to that requisition form. And so you have a mixture of kind of questions or fields that I need, required or non-required, and then the basic fields like description, quantity, category, etc. And then lastly, this doesn't really add to cart, but this information and tips are a way to link to a separate URL. That could be to a portal where something is purchased. So if it's contractual and I want to direct you there, I could do so that way. But also just to show you, like these do, in terms of what different policies there are. But again, this just links us out to another web page. In this case, this is the Oracle demo, and they link to their own page. Okay, so one we didn't talk about here, and that's just because this is the ones that I showed you are largely around pre-negotiated content or catalogs, or in this case, smart forms. But there are some free-form ways that you can enter requisition line or non-catalog. Non-catalog is very simple, and enter requisition is more fields. And then it also allows you to access they call transactional items. Think inventory, so planned items most often. Okay, so those are the 8 or so different ways that you can add content to your shopping cart. So we've gone over the seated user, Calvin Roth. We've navigated here. We've shown this is the home page. We've told you about how to add the transactions. Now, the last thing that we want to do is talk about transaction search options, both basic and advanced. So in order to create, we'll use this page, but if we want to find existing transactions, we'll click Manage Requisitions. And then, like most other transactions inside Fusion or Oracle Cloud, it's going to give us both a basic and an advanced search. So you can see the basic is where we landed. It selects the fields and which of those fields are required. And you see a double asterisk. It just means one of the fields with 2 asterisks here is required. And so you can add that data and search. It controls what you'd see down here, as well as you can do some different searching, and you can thread these results that are returned by some high order fields or limiters, what have you. That's what we'll call basic. Now, if I want to go to advanced, what happens is I get the option to add any number of additional fields that Oracle has set up that you can add. So if I say, oh, well, I'd like to know, let's see the status of this or something. Then what it does is it will add that status here, and I can use that status. I can also get rid of this field as such. I could take any of these different unique values that I create. So let's say I only want to see open or approved recs. Then I can save that particular advanced search and even set that as the default search when I come into my page. So that's the final topic that we'll go through today, where we talk about transaction and search options. So again, if you want to know more about how to create a requisition, then you want to go onto the how to use menus. And if you want to know how to set up the purchase requisitions application, then you'd want to go more into the deploy menus. That's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you.
Okay, as promised, here are the 5 steps you can perform today to start earning free badges for your LinkedIn profile. Step 1, navigate to Panemere.com and either sign in or join now. It's free. Step 2, in the upper left, under the Discover menu, select the course that you want to watch and get badged for. Step 3, watch all of the different video lessons in that course. Step 4, when it's complete, send your LinkedIn profile and the course you watched and your user ID to badges@panemere.com. And then sit back and wait for step 5 when we attach a badge to your LinkedIn profile.